In this episode, I'm going to look at a Samsung SV5000. This is a multi-system converting VHS VCR that will convert between PAL and NTSC and NTSC and PAL and even one of the CCAM formats. Anyway, this one was brought in for service and it is in serious trouble. This is the Samsung multi-system VCR that was brought in. I actually had 3 of them brought in, and the client, he'd like to get one working, and said I could take parts off of the other ones to make one work. This is the first one I'm going to look at here. Let's take a look at this one. I've got the top loosened. Actually, it comes in with only 1 screw, so it's pretty easy to take this one apart. Just remove the 1 screw from the back. Let's take a look at the mechanism on this machine. Okay, I've got power to the unit. I hear a grinding sound, or a motor running sound, and the head drum turns. And that's all it does. So I'm going to pull the chassis out of this and just take a look at the mechanism, see if there's something jammed on it. I noticed that the mechanism is, well, right, that's not supposed to be loose. Capstan, or the pinch roller, is down. So I don't know what damage this machine may have incurred, because the owner of it has been into it himself. So we don't like to see machines that people have tampered around inside, because in addition to the fault that caused the machine to break, I don't know if there's been any other faults created at the same time. So we'll take the front cover off here. Notice one of the buttons has fallen off of it. Oh, the one for PAL M. Problem with some of these plastic buttons is that they have a tendency to break, fall off. Yeah, it would have gone in there like that. But they break off on them. It's quite common on these machines of this type of design with these buttons on the front. But that's okay. That's not going to affect the operation of the machine. I'm more interested as to what the mechanism is doing, because everything here appears to be really loose. So first things first, oh, yeah, it's loose all right. It's not even fastened in. That's what I mean. The machine gets brought into me in a state where someone has taken it apart. And, well, I can see right now why this mechanism's not working. Someone's robbed the belt and robbed the main drive pulley and a bunch of cam gears out of it. So I have a feeling that this machine's not going to go back together, because it's got parts that are missing. Right, someone's been picking parts off this machine. There's a gear missing here. Main cam gear is missing that controls the mechanism. That's why the guides are like they are, because parts are missing. So this machine, I can say, is going to be a write-off. It'll just be useful for parts. Yeah, there's all kinds of parts missing off this one. So I'm going to stick this one aside, and we'll go on to the next one, which is also in a very sad state. I have 2 machines that are identical, and this is the odd duck, so this one wouldn't have interchangeable parts anyway. Let's go on to machine number 2, and we'll take a look at machine number 2. This is the second machine. As you can see, this one comes in and it's got the glass missing for the fluorescent display. Looks like this machine may have been dropped or something. Wonderful. We'll see what shape this one's in. Again, only 1 screw holding the machine together. Okay, I'm not going to put a tape into this thing just yet. I want to see whether the mechanism's going to go through the motions. So to trick the machine into operating without a tape, I'm just going to put some black tape over the tape detector holes. That's where the auto stop light down in the middle here, the infrared emitter, shines through the tape end sensors. Tells it when the tape's at the end, and also if it sees both of them, then it knows that there's no tape in it. So to load a tape, we just have to pull the 2 little catches forward, and oh, may help if I turn on the power, and get the machine to load. This is easier said than done, because I don't want to lose a finger in this, so we do that, and the mechanism will load, And now I can see that I have nothing moving down here. My capstan shaft, as you can see, is turning, but I have nothing moving here. So this machine may be one that is salvageable. Let's pull the deck out and see what's going on below the mechanism on this one, because we have no tape transport moving the tape spools. So it could be a belt that's bad. I don't know if that just fell out of this machine or that fell out of another one, but could be a belt that's bad, or could be a clutch. Won't know until I get the unit apart. Now this is, I've never pulled one of these machines apart before, so I'm just kind of looking at the deck here to see what holds what down. See which screws have to come out. Looks like that plug has got to come undone. Both of these plugs have to come out, and I'm sure there's probably another screw in here somewhere, maybe not. That can come off. The deck will lift out. Oh, okay. There's no belt in this thing. You think? You think that might be why it doesn't work? There's no belt at all in here. Someone has robbed the belt. It didn't just break, because if it broke, it would be still in the bottom. There's no belt in this machine. That might explain why it's eating tapes, or why the tape spool is not turning. Why it would eat a tape if I tried to play one. The other machine I just pulled apart had no belt in it either. So I'll go over to my collection of belts and see if I can find one that will fit this. That one will probably do the job. And while I'm at it, I'm going to clean the mode switch while I've got the unit apart. Pop it open. I'm just going to clean the contacts with some concentrated deoxit, put the switch back together, and then rotate it a few times to polish up the contacts. Okay, next we'll put the mechanism back in. I just have to line up the machine, drop the deck in, and push. Reconnect the power, and turn it on and see what it does. Okay, now let's try. It's in the loaded position still. Let's just try playing a tape and see what happens. Or faking that there's a tape in there. Just gotta find which button I press. Remember I said I think this machine's been dropped? Look at the circuit board here, there's a crack in the board. That would explain why it won't turn on. Maybe that's why someone was picking parts off this one trying to fix another one. Well, we'll see if I can make the circuit board work on this set. Take it out in its two pieces. Put it back together. I wonder if there's any other breaks. That's a bad break too. A lot of traces broken on this one. Power it up. Unit powers on. Let's see if I can load a tape in here. I'll fake a tape going in. I gotta put my fingers in here and try and load a tape without losing my fingers. that's good so far. Take-up spool is turning. It thinks it's in play. Looks like it's not going to eat a tape now, so let's just try ejecting this mechanism. I went to fast forward there. First stop. There we go, stop and eject. Since I've got two machines the same here, or similar, I'm going to take the face from the one that's not smashed. Right, this one here is all bashed up. I've got one here that's not smashed. So I'm going to take the face from this one. Let me just put the bracket back in here to hold the cassette mechanism in. Now, put the face back on it again and see whether it will load and eject properly. Okay, eject. There we go. Now it's ejecting. Question is it going to play? Well, let's just see. Is it going to play? Of course it's going to play. Let's try a PAL video in this thing and see how well it converts. This is a conversion machine that will convert from all the different standards of the world. So there's a PAL tape going in. Looks like it's going to play it. And there it is. It's playing a PAL tape on an NTSC television. If I turn off the conversion, you'll see what happens. Now it's playing it, outputting it in PAL. And of course, it's not going to do anything. It's not going to show anything. If I switch it back to NTSC, so you have PAL M, but there'll be no color. PAL N, it'll roll. NTSC, the color comes back. That makes these machines quite valuable, and that's why I got this one into repair. So if we take a look at the front of the machine, you'll see that it can output in any of the systems. PAL N, PAL M, CCAM, PAL, NTSC, and of course through just gives you what you put into it. So further testing on this unit has, even though it was working, has shown another problem. It will jam once in a while. So I have to take this mechanism apart again and see why it's jamming. See? Sometimes it'll jam when it's loading. So let's pull this mechanism apart again and see why this one here occasionally won't thread the tape correctly. So again, I'll shut off the power. We'll disconnect the mechanism. I've already taken the screws out. We're going to remove the mechanism so I can get a closer look at the mechanical operation to see what is possibly jamming on this. I'm going to put it through its paces manually and load the mechanism by hand to see if anything sticks. So to do that, I'm just going to release the catch here on the bottom so I can take out the loading motor. I should be able to pop this whole loading motor assembly off and access the gear here so I can turn it manually. Once I've done that, I should be able to pull off the gear like that. Okay, now I can turn the mechanism through the loading process by hand. I'm going to release the catches on both sides. That'll allow me to lower down the mechanism. And do the job of the loading motor manually. This way I can determine if anything's sticking while I'm turning the loading gear by hand. As you can see on this unit here, once the loading, or once the tape is down in its down position, the main loading gear here will engage with the main cam, and it'll start to move the mechanism here, which will load the tape. And I'm actually not feeling any resistance whatsoever. So as to why that thing is not loading is like there's no resistance. Everything's moving smoothly here. These are real cheap mechanisms compared to the good quality ones that we saw out of Japan there. At least it's metal though, you know. This is a metal mechanism. But they're real simple. Real simple compared to some of the other ones. In fact, about the only thing I can see on here that might be cause for concern is that the lubricant on in the bearing here is a bit dry. So I'm just going to pull this apart again here. I'm going to put some lubricant into the bottom of this bearing. I'll use some of this Molykote grease. We'll put some lubricant into here and put some lubricant onto this gear and see whether that makes a difference, because it just appears that it was sticking when it was spinning, loading and unloading the tape. I mean, everything here turns smoothly, so the only thing I can really think that might be causing a problem is the lubricant is dry on the worm gear here. So we'll put some fresh lubricant on here and load it up again and see whether it still sticks. Because I compare it to the other identical chassis, which has got pieces missing off it though, right? The other one's got this bar missing off it and someone's been into it. So we'll see if this one performs any better now. That seems to work nicely. I'm just going to rewind this tape. I can figure out which buttons do which. Is that rewind or is that search? Make sure I press the right button over here and put it into full rewind instead of search. Well, this machine's still having a problem going into rewind, full speed rewind. It does the initial search, and then when it goes to go into full speed rewind, it's not going into high speed rewind. So I'm going to have to look at this board again. There's got to be something on the board that I'm overlooking. Maybe a cap that's gone high ESR and one of the voltages is dropping off. So I think we'll take a look. We'll pull the board out of this thing again and just do some measurement of some of these capacitors in the secondary stage and see if one of these, I don't see any tops blown on them, but that doesn't mean that they're not starting to head south, because something's not right on this one. So I can't very well verify to the other board because the other board's broken. But I can verify that if I try both mechanisms do exactly the same thing, with the exception of one of them. The loading motor has got a bit of a problem. It has a flat spot and it dies. But both other mechanisms, they both have the same symptom, so we're not looking at a mechanical problem. So let's just do some tests with the ESR tester here, and I'll just check a few of these electrolytics in the secondary, and we'll just take a look and see if we see any that are really bad. So 0.4, that should be okay. 0.07, that should be okay. 0.37, that one probably is okay. 0.5, that was should be okay. 0.4, that one's okay. Looks like that one's been changed at one time. 0.1. There's some more of them in here. Put this one here. 3 points. Oh, that one's not looking too good. What about this one next to it here? 3.4. Yeah, that's looking high. What's the value of these? What are the value of those caps? Those are 10 at 100 volts. Okay, that's probably okay then. What's this other one here? This one is 47 at 50 volts. Oh, that's too high. 47 at 50 volts should be like 0.56. 100 at 100 volts should be, well, that's also too high because that should be like or was it 10? 10 at 100 volts. That should be 1.5 maximum. It was coming up at about 4. So I think I'm going to change these two ones down here, and we'll try those two. They're the two that are right in here. We'll try swapping those two up and just see what type of results we get. And the next one over here, it's a 47 at 50. So we'll take this one out as well. We'll even measure these on the ESR meter out of circuit just to see how bad they are. They're measuring high in circuit. Probably measure even higher out of circuit. Yeah, see 2.5. This is a 47 at 50. So it should be like 0.56 maximum. And it's 2.5, 2.6. And the 10 here, it is measuring 4.2. And 10 at 100 volts should be, no worse than 3 for a new one. So they're clearly out of spec. So we'll replace it. This new one here is a little bit physically larger, but it will do the job. Got a bit of a windstorm out there tonight. You can probably hear it in the background. Let's just try this unit now. And there we have playback. And let's just try all the modes. Let's try rewind, because this is where it was having problems before. It was going into full rewind. And is it going to rewind and not eat the tape? Now these short tapes aren't going to rewind at full speed, but a full length tape should. But these ones won't go into full speed because of the reel sizes are different. And it's behaving how it should. Eject. Will it eject and not eat the tape? Where's eject? Here it is. There we go, eject. Perfect. So on this one we had a couple problems. One, we had a bad mode switch, which we took care of that. I changed out a couple caps that were bad and that were going high ESR in the power supply. That'll keep that going strong for a while. And we had a bad loading motor that wasn't strong enough. It would jam on the loading cycle. When I put the tape in, sometimes it would just get to about halfway and then it would stop. Right, so I just swapped the loading motor out on the other one. So we had a couple different problems on this unit that were contributing to the failure. But now I've got a good working multi-system conversion machine here, which I spent too much time on, but it now appears to be working properly. And this is the PAL tape that's in here, and it is playing it in NTSC on my TV. Forward search, reverse search. If you want to see it on the TV, I can show you this. I don't think I have to worry about copyright on this. I think it's a tourism video. But there's play, and this is playing a PAL tape on my NTSC monitor. And go to forward. Back to play. Reverse search. Back to play. And the machine itself. Stop it. Go to full fast forward. Stop. Rewind. And eject. Everything's working great now. Let's put this thing together. Oops. The grounding screw back in here. And to put up that sign that says shop rates. You know, $50 per hour. If you watch, $75 per hour. If you help, $100 per hour, because well, this one here was brought in by a client that had clearly tried to repair it himself and, well, had not helped me at all. That's for sure. Okay, top cover on this thing. It came in with no screws in it, or one screw holding the thing together. And as I say, brought me 3 of them, but said I could keep the other 2, but the other 2 are basically maybe useful for parts. But there's not really a lot I can do with them because, well, one of them, the main board's broken. And we're in PAL right now. I gotta hit the button there to switch it over, and it should track up here momentarily. There goes auto tracking. But there you go, it's working. It's got a picture. It's playing back a PAL tape. Eject. No eating of tape. And there it is, playing NTSC tape. And it would convert that to PAL too if you press the right button on here. There's NTSC playback. And eject. No problem. Working perfect. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you again real soon.